after Julie Wilde unexpectedly died following a brain hemorrhage, her twin sister Deborah made the decision to not only donate her organs, but also her hands, hoping that they could change someone's life.
Corinne Hutton, who lost her hands and legs to sepsis in 2013, was that special person and in return gave Deborah the chance to hold her late sister's hands again.
And they both join us now this morning. Lovely to see you both. It's fantastic to have you here.
Yeah.
I've not seen you for a number of years, Corinne. Over the years, I've seen you after, you climbed Kilimanjaro, when you collected awards. I haven't necessarily seen you since. I think you had your hand transplant. It's amazing looking at them there.
Incredible.
And, of course, Deborah, I wonder how that is for you because, of course, it was you that agreed to make the donation in the first place because of your gorgeous sister.
Together with her twin boys.
With her boys as well.
We made the decision that, her limbs can be donated as well.
It's an extraordinary story. Tell us a little bit about your sister. What was she like?
Julie was a beautiful soul, very kind, caring, lovely-natured, do anything for anybody. She worked all her life in healthcare. She was originally working for NHSBT, where she took blood, and then for about 25 years, then went on to be a phlebotomist in Sheffield Children's Hospital, which is a job she loved, taking blood from babies and children there, until one day in January, 6 years ago, she suddenly became unwell. Nothing wrong with her at all, physically fit, no medical history. She just got a severe headache one day and passed away.
She sounds like a wonderful
She was
lady.
Absolutely perfect. My best friend.
In the whole world, yeah. And what happened? Because she came to you and she said she got a terrible headache.
She did. I mean, I'd been working away a few weeks, so I was moving in that day with her.
Right.
And she was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I went up and went to the bath and she come running in saying, I've got a severe headache. Check my blood pressure. And I just said, Julie, you've got a headache. Well, take paracetamol. But then she started being a little bit confused, a little slow in her words, slightly. So I just knew then that there was something wrong. I got her to hospital, so the onset of the headache to getting in hospital was about 40 minutes.
Right.
Where I was just booking her in when she started seizing and vomiting. So she became unconscious very quickly and I lost my sister there.
Right.
So sudden.
So sudden.
Very sudden. So while she was unconscious, I got a specialist nurse came to see me who asked about organ donation.
Is it something
Julie was on the...
Had you talked about it together?
Yeah,
previously?
It had been mentioned. She worked for the blood service as well, and she got a card, and so she was on that service anyway on the list. So that was the easy decision. But then she said, "We need your consent for what do you think about limb donation?" Which is something I was quite overwhelmed with it to start with because I'd never really heard of it.
Neither had I.
It's something you wouldn't think about.
Until I read about this incredible story, I had no idea that that there was even the medical capability to be able to do it.
So, like I say, I took her back to start with, but then I obviously agreed to it, what it can do to change somebody's life. But then I just said, I need to ask your twin boys first, Sam and Tom. So I asked those, and they said straight away, if it helps somebody, no problem,
And the amazing thing is, it has, not only have her organs helped somebody, but her hands have helped Corinne here. So, Corinne, you have this extraordinary donation, and we can see the manicure, which looks amazing, the hands that look incredible. Just tell us a little bit about how you came to lose your hands and your legs.
Well, I had pneumonia, just a bad cough, really, and pneumonia should be manageable, but it went to septic shock, sepsis, and I was unconscious for quite a while, completely out the blue as well, fit and healthy, and, wasn't an angel, but, I looked after myself as well, but just completely out the blue, and they had to obviously save my life as best they could and keep the oxygenated blood in your vital organs. So for me, that meant the extremities were starved of oxygen and they turned black and blue, and that was foregone conclusion eventually that they had to come off. So I lost my legs at the shins and I lost my hands just at the wrist.
And at that point, did they say to you, were you aware that you could get a transplant?
Yes.
Did they talk to you about it? And when they broached the subject, what did you think?
Well, I'd been through so many operations to get these amputations, so many panics. In my mind, my immune system had let me down. So I didn't really want to go for something that meant I was immune suppressed for the rest of my life. So I originally said no. It was the same surgeon that took my hands off that had been involved with Leeds and the hand transplants previously. So he had mentioned it early on and then raised again a bit later on. And I felt I owed him, I suppose, the opportunity to listen and check it out. And I thought I would be against it. But the more you realised how excited they were in Leeds about what they could do for me,
Yes.
it rubs off a bit. And you thought, why would I not want to?
But it takes a while, doesn't it, to find the right potential organ that you can use, the right potential limb that you can use, whether you're doing sort of an organ donation or a limb donation, even more complicated for you as well.
Yeah, I waited 4.5 years. I did so many blood transfusions that I had so many antibodies in me that would reject against the wrong hands. So we had to find the perfect hands and the perfect blood type and things. And I know it's...
And she was a perfect match.
She was perfect. And it's so opposites there. You're excited. I get so excited about my hands. I'm so proud of them. And I, as you see, throw them about and I, love them and do so much with them. But never, ever do I think of my hands without thinking of Julie and what the other family went through. And it's the complete opposite.
But to see her gesticulating wildly and loving, it must actually give you...
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny, because I'm watching you, Debbie, you just keep looking at her.
I mean, you just think when you die, to put it bluntly, your organs and your limbs are no good to you. And if it can change somebody's life, evidently, that's Corinne.
And the interesting thing as well is not just the practicality of having your hands and being able to do things physically, but just the emotion. You talked about being able to stroke your little lad's hair.
Anything, just being able to hold his hand. He had to hold mine for all these years. So, it's the emotional things that I didn't like me doing that by the time he'd grown up, but that's okay. He's getting anyway. The emotional things you don't think of. It's touch.
I saw you being interviewed, of course, with Kate and Adel on G&B, just not long after you'd had the transplant, and you were talking about where you were getting with feeling in the hands. How is it now? How's your sort of movement and feeling?
Movement, my right hand is 95% functioning, apparently. My left hand is 75, which is just the difference of your dominant side.
Oh, I see,
which doesn't change, So, but the sensitivity and the touch isn't at that level, not like yours, but there's a delay, there's a bit of a delay, so I get there. Or if I've got a sore finger, then I don't quite know which finger it is. So it's complicated, really. But
you did notice, though, as Kat took your hand this morning, you said, "Oh, you're cold." So you can feel that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I feel that.
Have you held hands yet this morning?
Not today.
Can we? Do you recognise them?
Of course.
Yeah.
They're still Julie's hands.
It's just mind-blowing, isn't it?
Do they still feel...
They do, yeah.
They're warm.
Does it remind you?
It does. They're Julie's hands.
Yeah.
Even though last time you said I knew instantly they were my hands, they're still Julie's as well.
Yeah.
So they're still Julie's hands to me. And then it's amazing. They couldn't have gone to anybody better.
Thank you.
She was amazing as well, Deborah. And you and the boys being able to be sort of so altruistic and generous with regards to her organs and the limb donation, because it's a difficult thing for families when you've lost someone so quickly as well.
It is.
Very brief.
It is. I mean, she saved 4 people's lives. They were a liver, pancreas and 2 kidneys. So she actually saved 4 lives, but transformed yours, Corinne.
Yes, it has, absolutely.
She lives on.
Yeah.
She does live on through her hands. What a legacy.
And as well, I know, Corinne, that you wanted to make the point that the limb transplant is a very specific, complicated thing, isn't it? It's not like donating organs.
No, and it's not on the organ donation list. Although there's the opt-out scheme, which is great and is progress, I think it's far better to opt in, actually sign up for the organ donation register. In that, you can tell people what you would like to or not. So I think, it's really important. But this isn't part of it yet, so you still have to make that big decision and answer that big question.
I just think it's miraculous.
It
is
absolutely miraculous.
I still can't believe she's not here, but she's here today.
You're holding on to her.
It's wonderful.
Which is magical. Thank you for coming in. Deborah, thanks for being brave and coming in and sharing the story. And Corinne, it's lovely to see you thriving and flourishing, as you always do. It's brilliant, really lovely.
And I just say that anybody out there, everybody's on the organ list now, but limb organs donation is not on the list. So you can talk to family, friends, if there was the unthinkable to happen, to donate your limbs.
Yeah.
I agree. Have the conversation. It's the most important thing.
Sure.
And you're testament to how extraordinary it can be if you do have the conversation. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.